Yes. We're back at it again. Another edition of Crosstalk. You know, it's your boy Ray from Ray Ray's podcast. Who else right here?
Law Nation Sports, man. Hey, check me out on the Law Nation.
And we got a couple guests we're going to introduce in just a second. But again, thank y'all for tuning in. Hey, make sure you liking, subscribing, following. Make sure you get all the notifications when we drop these Crosstalks episodes. They come to you every Wednesday during football season. We talk all things Dallas Cowboys. We recap games and get you ready for the upcoming game for this week, all right? But before we get into it, we got to take care of some business in-house first. First off, let's start off with some positive. You know, I like to start off positive on my shows. Positive words, they go a long way, all right? Cool. So, in case someone told you today, you are beautiful. We are proud of you. Mm-hmm. Your feelings matter. You will succeed, all right? So when you get, those small words like that in your mind, you think about that, you start manifesting, man, I promise you anything you think will come true, all right? You are what you are what you think as well, too, all right? And whatever you speak is powerful. Bet, okay? Right. So let's take care of some business, too. Real quick, I want to shout out to the Cowboys experience. If you're not doing anything this Saturday, what is the date? What is it, the 13th? I can't remember the exact date on that.
It's the 13th.
The 13th, yeah. All right. This Saturday the 13th from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m.
Or it's the 14th.
Or the 14th.
Today's Wednesday the 11th?
Mm-hmm. Definitely the 14th.
Oh, it's the 14th.
Yeah. Because Friday the 13th is a Friday.
Yeah,
the 13th.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this Saturday the 14th, you can come check me, Law, out. We're going to be at Playmakers out in the Cali. That's Michael Irvin's new restaurant he opened up. We'll be out there with the Cowboys experience. You're going to have Cowboys players out there signing autographs. Bunch of fun festivity things out there. Get you hyped for Cowboys versus Saints. Come out there. There's going to be a live broadcast. Law Nation Sports will be live out there broadcasting. So come out there. Come say what's up. We want to see you there. Well, what do you say, Law? Don't meet us there. What would you say, Law?
Don't meet us there. Beat us there. Yeah. Beat us to the location, and it's going to be a great time out there with the Cowboys experience. Hopefully, we get the playmaker on and get things moving.
Let's go. Real quick, I got to take care of a little bit of business. I got to take care of them bills, all right?
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to the whole Black Knot family. If you can see the shirt I got on. New apparel line that's going to be dropping October 14th. Black Knot. Be sure to check them out, man. They're doing great things. BlackKnotApparel.com. Go check them out. All right. Let's talk about these guests on this Crosstalk. Like we said, Crosstalk is where we have different content creators in this Cowboys world, each week talking about different things about the Dallas Cowboys. So today, we got two guests in the building on the Crosstalk for the first time this year. So let's start off with the guy over there, our man Lando from the Lando Show. Shout out Landon in the building. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm especially great after...
Wait.
Sorry. I try to give you a round of applause. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There's the drop.
There you go. Thank you for pulling up.
Thanks for having me, man. This is awesome. You got a nice setup out here, and I obviously appreciate the invite. We enjoyed our discussion and our time. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago now for the open portion of the Cowboys practice where I met Law in person for the first time too. So it's cool to meet or put names to faces, right? People that you kind of watch from afar for a long time, study what Law does, listen to what you do, and now getting to meet the man himself, Mr. Terrence Parsons. Is also it's a pleasure, man. So it's really cool just to be considered for this event. But how am I doing? Much better now watching this version of the Dallas Cowboys win a football game when their offense was the third most impressive phase of the team. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'd have to do some serious digging to find the last time this team won a football game despite the MVP caliber quarterback throwing for less than, 200 yards?
Yeah.
Less than two touchdowns. Stopping the run, man. That's one of the lowest hanging fruits from the offseason. So massive star up in that regard, and I'm just looking forward to continuing to see this defense gel together because we're listening to Mike Zimmer speak. It was relatively a vanilla version of the nuanced Zim scheme that we're going to see towards the end of the year.
Right.
So, man, it's just it seems as if things are finally heading in the right direction in the run defense department, and when you pair that with a top offense in this league for the last however many years, right? That's a lethal combination. Not just so you know that the offense is going to come around. slower starts now than that we're used to seeing, right? With more teams having more of their star players sit out throughout the preseason. Only 3 preseason games now. Used to be 4, but now, like, the Mike McCarthy version of this Cowboys team, he's like, look, I ain't putting anybody in harm's way. So you're going to see offense where it's a lot more choreography involved and timing and things like that. It's slower to evolve as the season continues, and so that's not an issue for me whatsoever. We also have to consider that was the number 1 ranked defense in the league from a year ago. So Dak was good enough to get them to lead, and that's all that he needed. The defense took care of the rest.
Yeah. So that's one of the guests we got on the show. We got my guy back in the building. You've seen him on Ray Ray's podcast. Now he's on Crosstalk for the first time this year. Y'all, give him one Ray Ray's podcast. Oh, I'm sorry, Crosstalk. Welcome to the guy, Mr. Terrence Parsons Jr., host of Real Talk with Capers and Parsons. Yo, what's up, my guy? Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back. How you been doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And Lando said it on the head, man. Very optimistic.
Yeah.
Very happy. I loved everything that I seen. And even if the numbers didn't look good,
right?
Dak looked good.
That's right.
That's right. CD looked good. And when the game was competitive, the numbers looked good. And then, when we went into safe mode, things dipped a little bit. But the defense remained on task. And that's really what we wanted to see, everybody wanted to see. And, yeah, man, this is going to be the first real defense we've had in a long time.
Well, let's start it off. Let's talk about the defense for week 1, all right? So we're going to preview week 1. Then also later on the back half of the show, we're going to get you ready for the Saints, all right? So let's start off with this defense, all right? Found a bunch of different amazing stats that I thought were really great, all right? So the Cowboys have 3 players in the top 10 for pressures from Sunday, all right? Number 1 being your brother, had 9 pressures. Number 2, D-Law had 8 pressures. Then number 10 was Marshawn Nealon with 6 pressures. So that's 3 players on your team. They're top 10 in pressures in the league. Isn't that something right there?
Yeah.
I knew this was going to be one of those things where if you lost our games last year, the time to throw the ball was quarterbacks can do whatever they wanted. They could drop back, get rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds. It's going to be an easy completion, and they might get some yards out of it. This year, we're making guys have to think and pat the ball, and when you make guys think and pat the ball, that's when you have the opportunity to get sacks.
Yeah.
And we, like I said last year, we led the league in pressures and didn't get sacks. You know what I'm saying? This year, that's going to be completely different. We're going to be getting sacks. Guys are not going to be able to just hit open guys for 5 yards and, continue to keep on long drives. This is going to be different this year.
Yes, making it a chess match out there and not allowing things to be so simple. Listening in to Mike Zim, I got a chance to talk to him while I was out there in Oxnard, and he was saying that basically I'm not going to give you the same look twice.
Yeah.
And on top of that, what was good is we heard from Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs on the show that basically, hey, we only did 3 sets.
Yep.
But there's variations that you can do out of those sets, and you don't know whether or not Parsons is coming to the left or right, whether he's going to shoot through A gap or B gap. And I was telling my audience when we were live just this past week about the fact that D-Law got 2 sacks. That's almost doubling what he had in his production total last season in one game.
Yep.
In one game. So by him bringing that pressure, by him getting the sacks, these are the things that I can say. What if I told you guys? Could this been D-Law the entire time? And scheme just could have been just the issue there?
Literally.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
You can't make up production.
There you go.
Woo!
You can't make up production.
Come on with it.
Like I told people, D-Law might not have been the pass rusher that he once was, but he was always been the run stopper.
Facts.
He always been the guy you had to worry about. And now that guys have to think and pat the ball, he can actually get there. You know what I mean? He's not Micah fast. You know what I mean? So he can't get there at the blink of an eye, but he's going to get there. You know what I mean? When Lane Johnson put him as one of his top 5 defensive ends, that meant a lot.
Listen
properly.
I mean?
That's a Hall of Famer right there, too.
You know what I'm saying? That meant a lot. That lets you know that that's a real guy you have to worry about when you line up across from him. So, you know what I mean? And I think last week, you know what I mean, he really showcased what can happen behind a great pass rush and a good secondary. And, you know what I mean, guys have to actually think before they, you know what I mean, they can get rid of the ball. Yeah. And I think that's just a testament, like you said, to Zimmer, man. Zimmer. For real. Yeah. When we got him, people hated on it. I said, listen, it was only one or two guys that I wanted, and he was one of them. So, like, and like you said, like the double A mug, man, it's the meta, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you give them a look, and you either go with that look or you break off of that look, but you have to account for 6 rushers.
And when you said that, listening in to Aaron Rodgers, who said that when he had to face against Zim's defense, double A gap always gave him troubles.
Because you just never know what's coming.
Just never know. And knowing now the list of quarterbacks that we got to go up against, hey, it's about to be a good season for us all together. And before I let you go, Lando.
You're good. Keep going.
I just got to say that it was beautiful watching the Washington team using Jeremy Chin as their linebacker. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, you remember that? You know, here in Cowboys land where you take a safety and you use him as linebacker.
Jeremy Chin is a little bit of a different beast.
Yeah, he's a different beast, but it was still good to see that his natural position is safety, but they moved him at linebacker. So I'm not trying to put salt down to Washington's wounds, but it just goes to show you that when you have the kind of caliber of players and talent here, and you have scheme with it with a great coach like a Mike Zim, you get a chance to see linebackers' productivity and production goes up. And we're going to talk about linebackers down the stretch, though, but I just wanted to say that we are absolutely now seeing true football.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, right?
It's a beautiful thing, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Knowing how we got eliminated from the playoffs.
Correct.
Defense weren't able to perform.
Correct.
When we needed them to perform. Now, we'll see. You know, we still got a long season to go. We do. But from what we saw so far, from a sample size, I like it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and I want some more of it, too. Yeah. And the thing is, so just for those, like to try to paint the picture a little bit more clearly, to make it more palatable for those who are listening and can't necessarily picture what we're saying, okay? The Dan Quinn system, it was basically a picture. Everybody was trying to shoot upfield, so it was a penetrating scheme, right? This Zimmer one is a lot more, it's going to be a complete polar opposite, but I teased this on my Twitter. I said, what if I told you that DeMarvion Overshown was the third most significant thing that we saw from the Cowboys defense this past week, okay? And I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint and a sneak peek into what I'm talking about there, and it's because Mike Zimmer's scheme, right, what Terrence alluded to earlier, is changing the post-snap picture, rolling those coverages, and then also simulating pressures, bringing guys like Micah, just people that instill fear into, like, before the ball is ever even snapped. We saw it. We saw it play out against DeJuan Jones. He false started, I think, on 2 different occasions with Micah lined up across from him on a 3rd down situation. So it's just the fear of what Micah brings to the table. But now all of a sudden you put him into the middle. It's forcing everybody to acknowledge him, including the center. He has to communicate, and then and on top of that, it's permeating into the mind of the quarterback as well. And so what Zimmer is, what I'm so excited about is to see the first team all-pro caliber turnover machines in our secondary alongside Micah, alongside Demarcus Lawrence, alongside DeMarvion Overshown. Now, you're making quarterbacks have to think a little bit more. So you're bringing the chess game to the quarterback. They are having to process your coverage after the ball is snapped, on top of all the other different things that they're having to do, field pressure, understanding the route schemes and the protection slides and all that stuff. But Mike Zimmer now is going to change the coverage after the ball is snapped, unlike Dan Quinn. We were just single high coverage most of the time and press man, really, and everybody trying to penetrate and go sack the quarterback. By the way, that makes it much easier against a Kyle Shanahan-style offense like we saw 49ers, Packers, playoff caliber teams, basically, with the personnel and quality offensive coordinators. The Rams are another team that would have done the same thing to us. They would use our penetrating nature against us, and essentially that makes it much easier to combo and climb and get to the second level. So our linebackers we're playing with offensive linemen running downhill at them completely unimpeded. Now that's no longer the case.
And then speaking on that, I heard Mike Zim just the other day talk about he's not very much so impressed with even how they perform meaning that I'm not finna give my players flowers. He was kind of perturbed just a little bit off of Parsons. He's sitting there saying to himself, I still got to create ways so that he won't get chipped. I got to move him double teamed and things like that. So not being satisfied with your food, knowing that, hey, this is a long, lengthy season, and I got to figure out ways to coach him up even better. Come on, man. How many pressures he had? 9?
Yeah.
9 pressures? 1 sack? Could have had by 3.
There was at least 2 or 3 more left on the table.
3 more on table. And not saying that.
And if it wasn't for Deshaun Watson being the athlete that he is, he would have had him.
He would have had him. Yeah. So that's that old school mentality of, hey, you did a great job, but I'm not even finna say it.
Yeah, and with those pressures, he had 6 hurries, 4 QB hits, 1 pass breakup that led to the INT from Kendricks, a sack. Then he had a 20.8% pass rush win percentage.
I was saying this before the season kickoff. This might be the year he get his first pick 6. This may be the year he gonna get multiple INTs.
DPOY.
Yeah.
You saw him on.
You might as well put it out there. Yeah. He's gonna have the 99 Madden rating. Watch.
Yeah.
Well, because
he's dropping in coverage. And if you watch the film, Deshaun almost threw him one. He had to hesitate. You know what I'm saying? And that led to a sack. So, you know what I mean? It's just, when you can do things like that, bring them and then not bring them and drop them in coverage, and then other guys actually get there. You know what I mean? And that was one of the big things from last year, you know, when he didn't rush the passer, nobody else could get there. Well, when the quarterback has to think, you see guys can get there. You know what I'm saying? So, man, and they only showed 3 out of 50 sets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That means we can run something new every week.
So the film that the Saints are watching right now, they might as well take it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not even going to be able to use it. Yeah. Because, you know what I mean? He's going to adjust on the fly. He's not in the broadcast booth.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just a different feel for this year, man.
And
yes, indeed.
You're missing one thing that is not on this defense yet. That will come later on in the
DaRon
season.
Bland.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You got DaRon Bland still coming back.
In the pipeline.
Yeah.
In the pipeline.
So,
for real.
I don't know, Terrence, if you saw my project that I posted last year about your brother. I was in Twitter fights on the Twitter streets with people who were arguing that Micah should not play a little bit more linebacker or in the middle of the field.
My whole argument. What they be talking about.
Thank you. So y'all heard it right here first and foremost. Okay. I don't really need to elaborate any more than just what he just said right there. They don't know what they're talking about. Listen,
right.
Micah, he's two of his superpowers, right? Rushing the passer. And pursuing ball carriers from the middle of the field, hunting, right? And then also parlay that with just instilling the fear and creating just chaos by just merely lining him up in the middle of the field.
Correct.
Right across from the center in the A gap or in the B gap, potentially, like we saw a couple times with him and Kendrick split out. But the thing is when you entrench him to one side of the formation on the line of scrimmage, not only is it easier for opposing offensive coordinators to scheme him out of the football game if they want to, but then it's also, hey, we know where you're going to be, so boom, we're going to motion a guy in, short motion, or even having a H-back coming across the formation like the Kyle Juszczyks of the world, or the Tucker Crafts, the Luke Musgraves in the playoff game.
Keep preaching.
You got Micah trying to not only take on an offensive tackle, but then he's got another 240-pound H-back just
chip release
into his rib cage every other play. Yeah. So this type of deal, moving him across the formation more so, like I'm talking about, and like Terrence just said, it unlocks one of his extra superpowers, which is pursuing ball carriers. Right now, you got him and DeMarvin Overshown doing that. Ooh. And secondly, it keeps him like the seasonal wear and tear.
It keeps it way down.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. The law of diminishing rates of return is upon anyone, right? So I look at it like this. We also have a guy by the name of Eric Kendricks that he is the nucleus because he knows how to get the alignments and assignments together, and we are seeing that people feed off of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he can take advantages of the situation where Parsons is at because of his knowledge of this particular team. So that's what makes it such a wonderful piece of having E in as Parsons is out there. Man, this defense, man, you might as well go ahead and book them as probably the number 1, number 2 defense in the National Football League.
Yes, that's not I don't believe that to be hyperbole.
Right.
It's early.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's early.
But I don't believe that to be hyperbole, just
Listen,
to be clear.
film does not lie.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Properly.
If you go turn on the film from last year and you turn on the film from week 1, it is a night and day difference.
Polar
Night
opposite.
and day.
You know what I'm saying? And just to lobby off of what Lando is saying, you know what I'm saying? When you can walk up to the line of scrimmage and point a guy out and know he's going to be there on that exact same play, every play.
Yeah.
Do you know how easy that is to be run away from or run at him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then being undersized, you know what I mean? It just makes it that much easier.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you go turn on the game film from last week, look how many times he was actually able to get double teamed.
Yeah.
They actually had to chip him. You know what I mean? They couldn't double team him. You know what I mean? So it's just, like I said, it's just night and day difference. And, you know what I mean? When you watch Fred Warner play on Monday night, you know what I mean? If you can't see the evolution of where Micah can be at in 2-3 years in this defense, man, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I had this question here, and we can just stay on defense, man.
I'm down for that,
Shoot.
personally.
They raised this question like, who has the best linebacker tandem in the National Football League? And I would still give kudos and credence to the 49ers.
Sure.
Ravens, they're in the mix. But you can bang the table now and literally say, don't sleep on them Cowboys.
No.
We went from weakness to strength.
The whole room. The whole room.
Yeah.
It's gotten so much better already. And what they've at.
The newest guy, Maris Lufau.
I was about to say that. Like, just,
Mike Zimmer, 30-year hard-nosed veteran in this league, calls a first-year rookie in OTAs a brilliant player.
Come on with it.
There's levels to this, man. You don't just get that credit from a guy like Mike.
Yeah.
Come on with it.
You got to be some type of special with your IQ and your processability at that position to get that credit. You got to be.
Yeah.
And if that's the 4th, 5th best guy that you got in that room now, and Mike Zimmer's talking about Maris Lufau like that,
Right.
Yeah.
come on.
So I got a question for you, TP, and we're going to talk about some of these player performances that on the defensive side of the ball that I really enjoyed. So I got a question for you. So starting off with this, all right? We saw in this game your brother lined up interior defensive lineman, edge, linebacker, all over the field, all right? Now, we know, when Demarcus Lawrence got hurt a couple years ago, we really saw your brother's pass rush ability. How long do you think it would have taken us to see his pass rush ability if D-Law wouldn't have got hurt so many years ago?
It's crazy. I was just having that conversation the other day, and a lot of people didn't even know that he got drafted as a linebacker to play linebacker. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dang, like you didn't watch the first 5 weeks of the season his rookie year. If it wasn't for COVID, you probably would have never heard of Micah being the edge rusher. He would have been a blitzing Devin White type that can play the run a lot better, move sideline to sideline, and he would have been an all-pro doing that.
Right.
And you would have been able to, I think, honestly, I always felt like it kind of slowed Micah's progression playing defensive end because I always felt him as like a Luke Kuechly, Fred Warner type, you know what I mean, that can play every down and go get the quarterback. That's what like really set him apart from a lot of linebackers, the pass rushing ability. And that's what, you know what I mean, and I feel like that was what really was going to like set him apart from a lot of people. On top of, you know what I mean, his speed and being able to use his speed in pass coverage.
Right.
And we saw that year one, you know what I mean? Guarding Saquon and Dallas Goedert out of the backfield and things like that. And I just felt like that was something that we should have kept going instead of, you know what I mean, relying solely on the pass rush. But, like, I understood it, you know what I mean? He's great at it, do it. But it was just from 60-40 to 80-20, I just never liked that. I never liked it. And like he said,
I'm so happy
you
that you're
can't
talking
stay
about this.
healthy that way. You know what I mean? Being 6'3", 245, leading the league in double teams, you can't stay healthy that way.
Right.
Best season, most healthy season was rookie year by far, especially in terms of production. And like I tell people, if you want production, you want a guy to play linebacker. Defensive end, defensive tackle, none of that is a glamorous. That's never glamorous. T.J. Watt didn't break the sack record at defensive end. He broke it at linebacker. You know what I'm saying?
Scheme,
So, you know what I mean? All that, he shouldn't play linebacker and things like that, it just never made sense to me because at linebacker, you're too fast for guys.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. Being able to
That
cover
can't-
every blade of grass, hook to flat, you know. So I look at Parsons into that particular light, just like you saying. Now, it goes back to the previous years, how he was utilized. I say this so many times on my show, and I use this as a basketball reference. Shaq is dominant.
Yes.
But on the perimeter, you're not going to keep him there.
Correct.
You're not going to force him to shoot threes. Steph Curry is dominant, but you're not going to put him down low in the paint.
block,
So it's one of those things where his coaching got to stand into the gap and say, hey, it's on me. If my guy is not making an impact in the game enough to solidify us to win, then it's on me.
Right.
Granted,
And
we
that's
can
the
make
difference with
arguments.
Zimmer.
Yeah, that's the difference with Zimmer. And he's not going to give these boys ice cream.
Right.
Coach Jeff Scanina is not going to give these boys
sir.
ice cream.
No, sir.
Hey, when I was out there, bro, when you shake his hand, my hand disappeared.
Yeah.
He's a big dude, pause if necessary, but it's one of those things. Whereas, hey, when he get into the face of these players, he's holding these guys accountable. So now we're seeing Jordan Phillips getting pressure inside. We're seeing Mozzie shooting with his hands, keeping his elbows tucked. And even if he's not getting home, damn it, the principles of what I taught you is there. It's not about you getting production. It's about everyone else getting production. And everybody, old folks say this all the time from where I'm from, Ray. Every tub must sit on his own bottom, right? But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this team, accountability, we got tons of talent. We got 4 good corners. We got 4 good, technically, and we got
good safeties.
4 or 5 good safeties.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we're literally talking about Carson's having 3 INTs in his first game that slipped out of his hands.
Yep.
What we gonna do when Bland get back? You know.
Hey, this might be an
These good problems.
This
Good
might
problems
be
to
an
have.
unpopular opinion, but I said when Bland went down that Carson in these next 6 to 8 weeks might put Bland on the trade block.
Ooh,
Whoa! Wait a minute now. You talking about full trade, or you can slide
Not
him back?
this year. It might not be this year.
Okay.
It might not be this year.
Honestly, I kind of
Next
thought
year,
the same
because you're
thing.
not going to want to pay him. You're
got a lot
not
of
going to
people
want
gotta
to pay
pay
him.
him.
I want to
You're
pay
not
him.
going to want to pay him.
I want to pay
all
him.
pro money.
Yeah.
Listen, when you got a guy like Kalen Carson, you're not going to want to
Yeah.
pay him all pro money. You're not.
It is.
You're just
it
not.
is true. The
not.
discussion about having multiple top end market guys at the same position is a valid point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a valid point.
Or you can slide in now and do that Cowboys Blue Star special. You know when players have been hurt, they go ahead and
hey,
slide them that
take this
extension.
discount. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
get you
take
paid
it
early.
Take this now, or
Jalen
whatever.
Smith.
The Jalen, exactly. That's a Jalen Smith. Go take that Jalen Smith deal right
Trey
now.
Diggs, they even got early.
That could be a possibility because what he's got this year, that he's got his rookie year, because he was a later round pick. You don't have
You don't have the 5th-year option.
you don't have the 5th-year option, but you can tender him and all that, mumbo jumbo or whatever. But going back, to your brother coming out of the draft, I remember early talks. Yeah, this guy's gonna go early on in the draft. Then I kind of forgot that he was still on the board. To like, oh yeah, he's still on the board. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was in the room banging for Patrick Surtain. I was praying to God,
And everybody wanted Slater too.
J.C. Horn.
Yeah.
too.
Honestly.
Like I was waiting for either. Okay, I was like, all right, cool. They're gonna Surtain off the board. Like let J.C. Horn fall. I'll be happy. I'm like, all right, cool. What? We traded with the Eagles.
Yeah.
We traded with the Eagles.
Yeah, I couldn't believe
Then
it.
I was like,
I couldn't believe
Mike,
it.
I'm like, okay, I liked him or whatever. I'm one of those guys that's kind of like, do you really draft a, because I thought he was just an off-ball linebacker coming out of college.
Everybody
I really, that's
That was
that was the perception.
Most of everybody did, but you know what I mean. If you did your homework, I mean, like you got to be in tune with high school football. You know what I mean. So if you're in tune with high school football, you know that Micah was a number 3 DN in his class. Really should have been number 1, but neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just athlete. You know what I mean. He's always been an athlete. Like he played running back all his life. He played DN for 3 years. First round. Scholarship to Penn State, played linebacker for 2 years and first round draft pick. You know what I mean? He can play whatever you ask him to play.
Yeah.
He can do whatever you ask him to do. And he's going to do it to the best of his ability. And I just feel like, honestly, I thought it was going to be Miami at 4. I ain't going to lie. Miami at 4, that 3-4 scheme, floors. I thought that was going to be good. The Lions said that if they were on the board, they were going to draft him. It was kind of like when Cincinnati took Jamar Chase, and then the Lions took Penny. It kind of opened the door for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I did like Pastor Tain, but you need pass rushers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you got DBs, you know what I mean? DBs are nice, but what really helps DBs? Pass rushers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And me knowing who Micah was, I said that's the best defender in the draft. We're the worst defense. It only made sense. So when we got him, you know what I mean? I like blitzing the linebackers.
Right.
Me personally, I like blitzing linebackers. DN's fine, but I always felt that, you know what I mean, even last year, they say, oh, if he's at linebacker, they're going to pass the ball more. Okay, well, you give your best player a two-way go on what you see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you feel like you can go get the quarterback, go get the quarterback.
That's what I'm
If
saying.
you feel like you can go make a play on the ball, go make a play on the ball. You know what I mean? It's never just because you're a linebacker, oh, you got to be on coverage. No, like,
Right.
you give your best players two-way goes.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know what I mean, when Micah first got that playbook and he told me it was all centered around him, I said, this is the best thing for you.
Yeah.
And he's going to embrace that, and you just see the whole team embracing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Last year, you've seen him open so much up for guys.
Correct.
And this year is going to be even more. You know what I mean?
More.
So, and you see it firsthand, one of the best teams in the league. They can say what they want to say.
Right.
The Browns are one of the best teams in the league. You know what I mean? You don't have all those injuries last year and
Playoff team.
still, you know what I mean, make the playoffs.
Shoot,
And
give me
you know what I
Jerry
mean?
Judy and Amari Cooper,
Yeah,
Elijah
like-
Moore, and
Yeah,
all of those
yeah.
boys. David
You know what I mean?
Njoku. The list goes on and on. Yes, they were down with the two tackles out in that particular game.
that's a big deal for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. But we can argue the same and say, hey, we don't have Bland nor Sam
Hey,
Williams.
with
you
those
know?
two tackles out and all of that, they still said we were going to lose that game.
We were
Before
still
the
2.5 point
we
dogs
were
on the
still
road.
going to lose
Yeah.
that game. We were never going to. To the media, we were going to be in the fight of our lives.
Right, right.
And it was convincing.
Yeah.
And that should tell you everything that you need to know.
Without the number one offense even really bringing a ton to the table.
Correct.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the Browns didn't allow over 25 points all last year at their stadium.
home,
Yeah, so good. You know, I would say this though, the Cowboys for what it looks like out there, we look dominant on the road. Two things travel.
Oh, yeah.
Two things
Defense.
travel.
Yeah.
Defense and run game.
Run game and
so
run D.
I would say this. If we look like that on the road, the next game is going to be at his house, the crib.
What I
Come
want
on
the
with
people
it.
to go out there and Google for me is Google how many games Dak has lost when we ran for 100 yards and held the other team to less than 30. Just Google how many games we lost.
right.
Look at his win-loss record when we do both of those things. Hold a team less than 30 and run for 100 yards. I guarantee you'll be shocked.
All right.
And to follow up what you said about the Browns, all right? So the Cowboys scored over 30 points against the Browns. They never allowed more than 27 at home last season, all right?
Yeah.
The Cleveland defense in 2023, they allowed the fewest points per game at 13.9 at home
There you go.
in the NFL.
Look at that.
13.9.
13.9.
Come on with it.
And we put up what?
More than double.
more than
that
double
More than
that.
double than that.
Yeah.
So let's dive into
And really cut it off at halftime.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, put
Yeah.
the e-brake on.
yeah. And they were just smooth sailing at that
Let's
point.
get
It
out.
was
Let's get up out of
It
here.
was just cruise control, right? So
Let's leave healthy, you know.
So here's some little stats from the defense. This is per next gen stats, all right? Cowboys had 23 pressures, 6 sacks, 2 takeaways, all right? I want to talk about some players that had some games, all right? You know, the game, one person I was really looking for in particular, coming back from injury, Trayvon Diggs, all right? Tell you what Trayvon Diggs did in this game, okay? First game back, you know, from a torn ACL. He had a 76.4 grade. That's 11th, you know. 80.5% coverage grade. That was 9th. All right? 1 INT, 1 pass breakup. 30.6 passer rating. Was tied for 6 bets. His first game back. So he's only going to get better and better.
Hey,
And he played against some good receivers.
I
And a
tell
decent
people back
quarterback.
in
Mark
June
Cooper's not a
that
jag.
Yeah.
Jerry Judy is not a jag.
Yeah.
Still a first-round pick. That's
I
still a
told
league
people
separator.
back in June that Trey Diggs is going to probably be ready week 1.
Wow.
I seen the way he was moving, cutting on the dime, and it just was just like, you just had surgery not too long ago. So, like, I knew. And, you know what I mean? I'm just happy he was able to, you know what I mean, come back full confidence and go out there and, you know what I mean, put that first one in the bag, you know what I mean, right first game from injury, you know what I mean, go get you one. And I just felt like that's just letting you know that, hey, man, in this Zim scheme, I could be probably right back to 7, 8, 9 picks.
Yeah,
Easy.
He got one right now. But let me just announce this right quick. Some news updated with Calvin Watkins. Per Mike McCarthy said Jake Ferguson knee remains optimistic about the chances of playing this weekend.
That's interesting.
I will not
He
play
will
him.
work the rehab group today. So he's working the cords today per Calvin Watkins, who just updated this T-minus 5 minutes ago. So what's your thoughts on that? I know we swinging around here, but what's your thoughts on Jake Ferguson playing this weekend?
I want him to get out. First, we got a good tight end room.
Right.
Let him get healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
You let him get healthy, and he's going to be 10 times what he would be playing hurt. And you know what I mean? We done seen it. We don't want
Right.
that to linger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That the lingering injuries and stuff like that, it just either leads to more injuries or, you know what I mean, not being full peak when we need you full peak. So I'd rather let him take it into the bye week, come out, week 8? I'd rather do that, to be honest.
Yeah, which I think is going to be back prior to that.
Oh
but
yeah.
just, you know,
Well, you just look at like the
yeah.
MCL, like the minor MCL sprains, and most of the research out there tells you it's like a 2 to 3 week recovery period.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, let them sit. I mean, there's no rush, man. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint, you know. And especially if we feel as if the necessary dimensions that needed to be brought up to speed for this team to get over the proverbial hump, one of those is already met. We feel like, as far as the run defense and just the defense in general is concerned, being able to get stops and supply a little bit of, or just buy the quarterback some time if they get off to a slow start, right? Or the offense in general, right? But yeah, man, it's to me, I'm just excited about what's to come.
Man, and I think also from a player standpoint, from Jake Ferg's standpoint, he wants to get back on the field.
Sure.
Because it's almost bag season for him.
Sure.
This is his 3rd year in the league. Next year is the last year on his rookie deal. So he's trying to put a performance out there so he can get to the bag because he's seen everyone else get paid. So damn, I want to get paid too. I want to get the dollars.
Give me a little slice of that pie.
Give me a slice of that pie, Jerry like to say. All right. So let's switch back gears to the defense real quick, and we're gonna get to this offense and get ready for week 2. All right.
Hunter Lipke too, real quick. Jake misses time.
Yeah.
Hunter Lipke.
As a guy I've been banging, you can ask him. I've been banging on the table for Hunter Lipke to get more playing time,
especially with John Stevens out as well.
Yeah.
Still dealing with some stuff. So yeah.
I like the position flex right now Hunter Lipke is able to provide. One as a run blocker,
Yes.
as a lead blocker, and also I could see him, getting more passes, out of the back.
He's just a weapon in general.
He's a weapon, and I hate we to get him more active last year. Yes, I hate last year was kind of a wasted year. Yeah. And a lot of people were down on Lifky after he had that fumble, I believe, against Miami last year. A lot of people were like,
People fumble, man.
Yeah, it happened.
Rookie UDFA, we're going to write it off for one play.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
the best running backs in the league fumble. The defense get paid too. Guys punch balls up.
I saw Christian
They train
McCaffrey
on
fumble
it.
in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah, they train. Like you seen Fred Warner Monday night. They are trained to go. First thing they do is punch the ball. You know what I mean? And I love Fred, and he puts his hand on the ball every time. Every time. It's like every tackle you see him punching at the ball. You know what I mean? When you're training to do that, you're gonna get some. You know what I mean? You're gonna get some.
So you had mentioned, how Trayvon Diggs, was going to be a good fit for Zimmer's defense. There's a guy that
Zimmer simplified it all.
he simplified it. Yeah. There's a guy, Law was telling us a couple episodes ago on Crosstalk that he was very excited for Zimmer's system, and that was Jordan Lewis. We saw that.
Right.
We saw that dog.
Oh, yeah.
That dog in him came out.
Lewis is a true nickel corner.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. And let me show you what he did, all right? And this is, against all cornerbacks. Week 1. 81.1 defensive grade. That was a 7th in the league, all right? 86.5 coverage grade. That was 4th. He had 3 stops. That was tied for 6th. 0 missed tackles.
0.
Listen, when we brought him back,
Oh, yeah.
people don't realize how much of a steal that was. And for him to come back for what he came back for, it was basically
what was his
minimum.
Minimum,
Minimum.
What, year 8 now?
Yeah.
A little bit. He was drafted a year after.
He was a taco draft. That was the taco draft.
So
double dipping in Michigan.
Yeah. So like 7. Yeah, like 7. Yeah. But yeah, man. Listen, Jordan Lewis. I always been up and down on him. He done made some plays down the stretch, but last year specifically down the stretch, coming back from injury,
Right.
he was everything that we needed him to be.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
So
this year 8. He was 2017 draft.
Yeah.
so it was just, it's one of those things where I feel like, you get better with time, man. And when you got a defense like this and pass rush like this, it really helps.
It really do, man.
Man,
really
to take
helps.
his licks too, right?
Yeah.
Because they were ready to kick him to the curb, or at least put him on the bench last year. They bring Stephon Gilmore in. They kick Deron Bland inside. This is before Trey Diggs' injury happens. But he's having to wear it. He's like, okay, count me out. Keep doubting me.
Keep doubting.
And then now we're seeing the result.
Yeah.
And these guys are hungry, man.
Yeah. And that's another thing I wanted to expand upon, if I may, real quick.
Go ahead.
Listening to the sounds from the sideline, just speaking from an athlete's perspective. Okay, I've been in the professional athlete world, and I understand. I felt the newness when you have a differing perspective from a new coach, or you're potentially even in a different set of scenery. Like scenery changes things, a different perspective changes
When you
things.
believe in what you're doing,
Yes, sir.
you're going to approach it in a whole new way.
Yeah, the energy on that sideline and amongst that defense feels different. You can tell there's a reinvigoration amongst everybody on that side of the ball. Yes, the newness is always going to be appealing, but when you apply the newness and then you parlay that with somebody like Mike Zimmer that has the skins on the wall and the resume that he provides, so that newness gets parlayed with nuance, you got something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. Confidence is everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's also one of the issues we had earlier on with Mozzie. It was the lack of confidence.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I think
Because they're asking him to
penetrate.
they simplified his whole job.
Just,
You
hey,
know what I
Mozzie,
mean?
don't move.
They simplified his whole. That's what I'm like,
Yeah.
and that's what I was trying to tell people. Like, they asked him to do a lot last year. They asked him to play out of position last year.
Right.
When you ask a guy whose main job in college was to just stand there and don't be moved,
Occupy A gap.
you know what I'm saying? And they got him right back to that. Just stand there. That's why he went and got 300-pound guys. Stay there. Don't be
Don't
moved.
move. Yes, sir.
And make sure these guys aren't getting down on linebackers. You make sure these guys aren't getting down on linebackers. You've seen how free and how well they were able to flow sideline to sideline and make plays. It's just a big difference,
Huge.
Assignment football.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Assignment football, and that's what Zim brought, the discipline, and you just seen it all week 1. I thought it was going to take a couple weeks. You know what I mean?
So did I.
But to see all of it week 1, and I think with Trayvon and Micah spending that extra time before practices and all that, watching film, that's only going to get everybody better because they're going to be able to be the on-field coaches on what they see and making the adjustments and all of that. And, when you have that on top of what Zimmer's already bringing, it can really get scary for the teams that have to play us.
No doubt.
And then you got EK in the middle at the linebacker position, also along with Linval Joseph. Both of those two guys are minimizing the learning curve because they've been in Zimmer's system and they understand it.
Player coaches, basically, is what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I said when Kendricks got signed. He's going to be your player coach on the field. Yeah. He's going to get you a line, make sure you're lined up right. He's going to show you okay. And I said this on Jay Tuck's, one of his posts on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I tell it, I was like, having an OG in that linebacker room is going to do benefits. Because who was the OG in the linebacker room last year?
Vander Esch.
Nobody really.
But was he really OG like that? Yeah.
Kendricks.
Yeah.
Vander Esch has never played like Kendricks.
Yeah. Never. Yeah.
And speaking of Kendricks, 9 tackles, 7 stops, a sack, and INT. All right there. Yep. And you talked about going sideline to sideline. We got to talk about the creme de la creme, in my opinion. DeMarvion Overshawn.
Yeah.
That guy was wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
We saw the highlight play where he closed in on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I really wanted to jump up. I did.
You had that stat line of how many blades of grass he covered to get there? Yeah.
But I'll tell you what he did. He had according to PFF, he had an 88.6 grade. All right.
Yeah.
This is his first season.
Right.
First start.
Coming off an ACL.
First game as a rookie, basically.
First game as a rookie coming off an ACL, like Trayvon Diggs.
Yes.
Coming off an ACL. You have an 88.6. Let me tell you what he did. Let me show you his stats real quick. I got it right here. Overshawn, 9 tackles, 6 stops, 1 sack.
Yeah.
And he played assignment football.
Yeah.
I saw a clip.
Man.
He was
That outside run play?
You saw, you know what I'm talking about. You see that pulling guard come across. He diagnosed it instantly. He met him there, and he maintained outside contain.
Yes.
He basically set the edge, and he made the tackle. He took on a blocker, a pulling guard, met him, did not move backwards, met him, and then made the play.
Yeah, and he's a plus 13 to 14 pounds, from there, and he's moving fluidly. And on top of that, here's another thing. We need to start a campaign. I know Joneses don't do it. We got to start a petition. Give that brother number 0.
Oh
man, he deserves to have that 0.
Man, we need to make a petition of
get
Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy paid up.
Paid up. Yeah.
Get them paid up.
Yeah,
this
already.
is the team.
Yeah.
This is the team.
This is it now.
What we got to
them
get you
boys
here
paid
this
up.
day. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do y'all want to stay on defense or do y'all want to go to offense?
Man, I could talk about defense all day.
What do y'all want to do? I'll let y'all go because I want to talk about this week
offense, man. Listen, offense is gonna come through slow.
Yeah.
But we know it dash. We're not worried about that.
Ain't worried about
you know
that
what I mean?
at
That's
all.
what I'm saying. Like, we got better on offense, and we had the number 1 offense in the league last year. We're not worried about offense.
Yeah.
For we can really talk about week 2.
One thing I do want to say about the offensive, I think this offensive line is already better. It's already better.
I thought it was better in training camp.
All I gotta say is Cooper Beebe. Shout out my guy Cooper Beebe. 0 pressures.
0 sacks. Yep.
0 pressures. Rookie, first time playing center on the field. 0 pressures.
It's crazy. We're gonna just touch this just a little bit. That off of the offensive line, out of the 5 guys, there's only one person that you would really say, "Come on, man!" And he gonna have a gold jacket. He's gonna be Hall of Fame, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Zach Martin, you almost got Dak killed, man.
Yeah,
What's happening, Zach? What's going on? Talk to us, man.
My boy getting older, man. He getting older, but
Father Time showed up. You're like, hey, I'm here, man.
But like, I mean, at the end of the day, he had a good game too, man.
Yeah. Out of 60 snaps,
the one that we all was watching, Guyton. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly what I thought. I said he's going to give up a sack or two. I said he's probably going to give up a sack or two. It's Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett gets
it. If Myles Garrett doesn't get a sack in that game, Myles Garrett has something to feel about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he's going to get one. I just wanted to see what's going to happen between him getting that 1 or 2. And what I seen between that, is exactly what I saw against Micah. It was exactly what I saw against D-Law. Yeah. Him holding his own, and that's when I knew that we had one.
Yeah. Give him the hardest test week 1 because I don't foresee down the stretch that he's going to go up against a guy of the kind of caliber of Myles. Now, of course, you got Bosa. Of course, you got the kid from Lions. What's his name? Hutchinson. You know, you got those boys.
They'll get T.J. Watt as well.
I forgot.
But
he's on the other side.
Other side. I don't know if they'll try to get that matchup. I doubt it, but yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about
let's
TJ.
go. Here's the numbers between Tyler Guyton versus Myles Garrett, all right? So Garrett generated 4 pressures and a sack across 13 matchups against Guyton, all right? 2 pressures were less than 2.5 seconds, all right? So Tyler Guyton only gave up 4 pressures and a sack against the reigning defensive player of the year. Not bad, rookie.
Yeah,
not bad.
Not bad at all.
Shoot. Hey, I'm going to just say this, though, and I know you guys haven't brought it up, but I got to give kudos and credence to Elijah Elliott for standing in the gap. Yeah. He kept the quarterback upright.
There was a couple, plays.
He had the hugs. He was hugging him, man,
and that's what we got him back for. Things like that.
That in the red zone.
When we get into the red zone now, we don't have any hesitations nor deviation to the matter. I look at it like this week 1, of course. I get all of that. If he can do that, it's a 17-game season. you probably see a 12 to 13 touchdown situation with Ezekiel.
That's exactly what I said. I think me and you had this conversation. Think about the year that Marion
700 yards,
Yeah.
12 touchdowns.
Think about the year Marion Barber was a Pro Bowler. You had Julius Jones as your starting running back. He went over 1,000 yards rushing. But Marion Barber got mainly all the touchdowns.
Right.
I think he got 13, 14 touchdowns that year. Most of them from the red zone. He was a third down back.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the same similar situation. Red zone, Zeke first. It's going to be number one option.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's make haste to talk about these Saints because I know we kind of pressure for time. So.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, can I just touch on and get your guys' thoughts on one thing that if there's one thing that I'm still concerned about, like in a game when there's so many exciting things to take away from.
Right.
If there's one thing one potential concern that I think is going to continue to improve as the year goes on. Once again, we talked about the offense be getting slower starts because of all the choreography. You got, Zach Martin didn't play in the preseason either. Dak Prescott didn't play in the preseason. CeeDee Lamb didn't play in the preseason. Like, your most tenured players ain't playing. Tyler Smith is another one.
Yeah.
So I do believe that the continuity up front and then just the chemistry within everybody in the offense is going to continue to improve. What I don't know is if we will see the how in the running game change from a year ago, right? The how was the biggest question mark, and that's why to me, I questioned Zeke's burst and things like that, but I didn't really question the running game because I knew if you solve just controlling A gap and getting downhill on people the way that I know that they're going to a Cooper Beebe in between a first ballot Hall of Famer and a first team All Pro, you're gonna win downhill.
Right.
My question was, can they marry the running game to the passing game? And now I didn't chart the full game, but I got the first half, and when you go back and you look. Every single running play, the one thing that you see, or don't see, I guess, is pre-snap motion. When it's stagnant before the ball is snapped, it's a run. When this team motions before the snap, they're throwing it more often than not.
Okay.
If I know that, you can bet your balls that
The defensive coordinator.
opposing Jim Schwartz knew that.
Yeah.
His defense knows that. And everybody that we see throughout the remainder of this year, just like they did last year,
Right.
they're going to know that. And they're going to be able to key in on it, right?
Correct.
When you can diagnose pre-snap, like once again, offense can play chess too, the way that Mike Zimmer is going to do the same thing now. Easy buttons in the offense. You put a man in motion. You're creating leverage. You're giving the quarterback tells. You're forcing communication from the defensive side of the ball. You're you're boosting the numbers advantage to one specific side. All these different things. It's a very simple formula. Pre-snap motion. Give your veteran quarterback those answers and figure it out. But now the same thing can happen in the running game too. You're forcing that play side edge to hesitate a little bit longer. Because he sees that man in motion, or the second level of the defense has to all of a sudden their eyes go this way, and then that's just that one extra split second for Zeke to hit that hole.
Well, you know what you uncovered, Dan?
Yeah,
You the 12th man.
there you go.
So we're going to take this clip, I'm going to chop it up, and I'm going to post it. Because at the end of the day, if you picking up tendencies, and we can all say that Mike McCarthy never been known for his run, offense.
Right.
And these are things that maybe they can overlook. And maybe they go in with the mindset that we got BB, we got Tyler Smith in there, and we trying to pound it for like 3 or 4 yards. We can get it because of our guys, but not necessarily. You got to scheme things. When I look at the 49ers, it don't matter. You can have me out there. I can give you at least 40. I can give you 40. That's scheming that thing up.
I'm getting in the zone at least once.
The first thing I tweeted, and that was in the first quarter, I said, do the 49ers even need C-Mac? like, be for real. Like, do they even need him?
Right.
Like, the way this scheme is, do they need Brock Purdy? Like, for real.
Yeah.
Me personally, the way that team, I'm not paying them. Like, listen.
Man.
If you go look at Brock Purdy's stats,
right,
and Jimmy G stats in that same offense, they're almost similar.
Yeah.
Anybody can play quarterback. Well, I'm not gonna say.
Almost
anybody. Almost anybody. And honestly, I think Trey Lance would have been fine had Brock Purdy not been so good.
Yeah.
Because that offense is just too easy. Yeah. When we're gonna establish the run game, we're gonna make them respect the run game.
Right.
And then everything off of that, play action, drags, crossers, guys are running wide open.
Yeah, every
you know
yard
what I mean?
of separation is crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's easy. It's like with Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. It's easy.
It's easy.
You know what I mean? We're gonna isolate our best receiver with your linebacker, and we're gonna see who wins. It's easy. Yeah. It's scheme. You know what I mean? When you have that, the X's and O's leads to a lot of favorable matchups. When you can create favorable matchups, you're winning. And the 49ers, the Chiefs, they're the best of the best at it. You know?
No doubt.
That's why you can't, I feel like in the 49ers situation, you cannot pay the quarterback and break the team up. You have to keep the team because we know what a quarterback can do in this offense. We know what Kyle Shanahan can do.
Well, time will tell.
So let's talk about this this week 2, all right? We're first home game out here in Arlington at home. We here. We got the New Orleans Saints come to visit us. The New Orleans Saints, they beat the Panthers 47-10.
Right.
I mean, it's the Panthers.
Well, they get praised for doing that. You know, if the Cowboys get like, that's what you're supposed
exactly.
to do. You know, so they get praised for it. Well, go ahead.
Exactly. You know, so I'm like, we're not going to really read too much into the Saints because who their competition was. Yep. You know, no knock to the Panthers, but that team's still trying to figure itself out.
The only thing we have to do this week is the same thing we did last week. We stop the run and we make them have to put the ball in the air. Mm-hmm. It's going to change the whole game.
Yeah. So, some of their playmakers, man, I would say Alvin Kamara, you shut him down. Now, if you do that and force Carr to throw the ball everywhere, we've seen Carr become a used car out there. Mm-hmm. Chris Olave is no one to sneeze at.
Not at all.
So, our new 21 over here, can you do something for us? Because at the end of the day, we're going to see, can you marry what you did week 1 to week 2? And I like my guy, Chris Olave.
So on that note,
I do.
We got this segment for you.
Chris Olave is a dog.
It's time for
Ray's podcast presents In the Eyes of the Law Nation.
Well, let me tell you, I kind of led into that situation about stopping Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say this, ladies and gentlemen, heading into this game, what need to happen is us getting to Carr and make him a used car. So this would be my situation and solution here. Cowboy Nation, shut down, stop the run, force Carr to throw the ball in these odd spots, and I guarantee you will have your pick 6 city with one of these guys, whether it's Trayvon Diggs, whether it's my guy Parsons, or this could be the game. The first time ever. I'm not saying this because we got the brother in the building, last name Parsons, but I'm talking about this because we're going to have Micah Parsons with his first pick 6 ever in the National Football League in the eyes.
I've been waiting for it.
Of the law. Come on with it.
Y'all might see me run on the field with that.
Yeah, come on with it, baby.
All right.
Come on with it. Oh,
I just want to piggyback off of what he said. Listen, this Alvin Kamara, he was suspended last year and whatever. We can't really see him play, but we know who he is.
Yeah.
This is going to be the perfect test for Derrick Henry on if we're going to be able to tackle and get guys on the ground. Because Jerome Ford, he's good, but he's not.
No Alvin.
Yeah. Alvin's going to run through tackles, you know, and that's going to be a good test. Yeah, that's going to be a good test.
You remember the last time we played him, we had a guy named Jalen Smith to hit him so hard. We were like, what happened to Kamara? Kamara's getting up like. So this could be another game. We don't have a Jalen Smith. I think we're a little bit better in that department. Shout out to you, Jalen Smith, a good friend of the family and a follower of the show. But I'm going to say this, though. There's 2 guys that I know for sure going to use that hit stick. Overshown and my guy Dono. Did y'all see Dono last week?
Boy.
Woo! Yes. Kamara gonna be looking like, hey, wait a minute.
I want to see multiple hats to the ball.
Come on with it.
Kamara has the ball. I want to see multiple hats. One-on-one's cool, but when you get that multiple hats, that's gonna be great to see because we're gonna need that come week 3 when Baltimore come to town.
What we wearing? This is the white uniform.
Yeah,
I was about to say we wear white a lot this year.
Yeah.
We wear white a lot.
We wear white mostly.
Yeah,
We're gonna see.
Yeah, for real.
We're gonna see a sea of white jerseys attacking the.
I think when I looked at the schedule, I think every game but like 3 are white.
Oh wow!
We even get the Arctic like 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, wow! I can't wait to see that.
One other interesting thing to consider here. Clint Kubiak has been a play caller for one time in this league, one season.
For real? Oh, wow.
This was, and that was back in 2019 in Minnesota with none other than
Mike Zimmer.
There we go.
Oh wow!
So he's the offensive coordinator now for the Saints. Okay, and also important to consider, he was the pass game coordinator last year for none other than the Kyle Shanahan San Francisco 49ers. So, player to watch. We've touched on Chris Olave. We've touched on Alvin Kamara. Both, in my opinion, each at their respective positions bring more to the table than even an Amari Cooper could last year or last week, and definitely more than a Jerome Ford and company could.
And Jerry Jeudy did get Carson's twice.
Yes.
You know, for a touchdown and one on an outbreaking route. So I was like, hey, Carson's played a little bit too much leverage inside.
He'll get it.
Yeah, he'll get it. But go to your point. Yeah.
Rashid Shaheed.
Oh, I forgot about him.
I call him Rashid Speed.
Yeah.
Speed Shaheed, whichever one you want to say. That's a playmaker, an up-and-coming playmaker in this league, a very underrated player because of his ability to take the top off of defense. We think if Brandon Cooks can do that, like we're talking about legitimate, like you name the fast, like we're talking Xavier-worthy levels of verticality here. Tyreek Hill levels of verticality. Yeah. So, once again, that's the beauty, though, of two high safeties, cover one, or I'm sorry, cover two, cover four, cover six, and a Mike Zimmer scheme where you're making Derek Carr think and hold the ball a little bit longer. You have help over the top now.
Is that a 5 or 7 step drop?
Depending.
Yeah.
So,
who we got gonna be able to disrupt that?
Come
on with it. If you're doing 7-step play action drops, you better watch your
Marshawn Newland.
Watch your lips. Yeah, because we got somebody coming for that. But all I say is I haven't started the study for this offense yet, so I don't exactly know
they're going to run the ball.
They're going to try to run the
ball.
ball.
They're going to run the ball. They're going to try to run the piss out of the ball.
No doubt.
If you go look at those stats against
with Shaheed.
If you go look at them stats, those numbers, they ran the ball almost 40 times for 180 yards. We have to stop the run. They only passed the ball 20-some times. Yeah. They're going to come out and try to run the ball. Period.
Yep.
We got to stop the run.
I can tell you for sure, without even looking at the film yet, that'll be tonight. I'll do the study and have to prep for that game. But Derek Carr is a much better processor post-snap than Deshaun Watson.
Correct.
No question in my mind.
No question
In my mind. But to Terrence's point, we have no issues getting to the quarterback, and we have no issues covering. Okay? Can we stop the run? Everything else will fall into place. That's it.
Literally.
Yeah.
If we can make them one-dimensional, it's over.
It's a wrap.
Please tell me you got a brother ooh.
Yes. We got one. Lando has one for us today.
Yeah.
It's time for...
Come on. This is my favorite segment.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
Even Acho just dropped a little segment on the difference between Mike Zimmer and Dan Quinn.
Oh, I can't wait.
Mr. Lando.
Sir.
What you got for us here on the segment?
This was actually a layup on my way in to the building this morning. I was tuned in to my guy, none other than the Jedi Master, Will Skywalker Steele himself on the A to Z Dallas, the morning show. Guy. He had a New Orleans Saints fan call into the show. Brother, talking about the Cowboys.
They got excited off of that win, week one?
That. but even worse, the Cowboys don't have answers at the linebacker position for Jawan Johnson and Foster Moreau.
Yeah, he didn't watch the game last week.
Play that brother one more time for me.
Listen, one thing I hate more than anything is when people talk with ignorance.
Yes.
If I'm gonna say anything, I promise you I done did my research and I got stats to back up my argument. Yep. you're never just gonna see me out here just talking crazy like that. We don't have linebacker. Listen,
Wow.
he must be thinking about 2023 because,
Yeah.
like I said, them linebackers went from a weakness to probably the strength of the team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Alongside the DB room. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
probably the
You know what I mean?
tied for or the second deepest unit on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, so that right there should let you know everything. Yeah, I mean, I said on my Twitter last night, looking through the roster, this is the first time I can say we don't have a gaping hole somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
We did until about 3 weeks before
Yeah,
before the season started. we got out there and got a couple more
Yeah,
bodies to help them out.
You
But
know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
Big bags.
this is the first time I can say that we don't have any holes.
No doubt.
And you know what I mean? When everybody want to point out those good teams that we had in the past, I always tell people, where were the holes on that team? I bet I can tell you.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I mean? When you have holes on your team like that and you go against good teams with good coordinators, they're going to expose those holes. And that's why I'm really excited.
Yeah.
You know?
I can double
I'm
down
really
on that
excited.
too. Talking about stats and backing things up, backing your opinions up with research. I did the work on that. The last 3 playoff losses for the Cowboys, Packers, Niners, respectively, cumulative 3.2 yards per carry offensively. And then the Cowboys in each of those 3 games, last year specifically, they brought the 29th ranked rush DVOA defense into
Wow.
that matchup.
Yeah.
Talking about holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had holes
Man.
Big holes.
in different area.
Codes, you hear me? 'Cause look,
Man, this
Yeah.
this has
This
been
year-
amazing.
Amazing show.
This has been an amazing show talking about recapping week 1, getting you ready for week 2.
Right.
Real quick before we wrap up, gentlemen, state all your platforms where people can find y'all, follow y'all, watch all the things you do.
You want to lead?
Twitter, you can catch me T_Parsboy with an underscore between the Pars and the boy. Instagram, same thing. Facebook, Terrence Parsons Jr. Podcast, Real Talk by Capers and Parsons. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, got it all.
And make sure you tell them
Tune
that
in,
boy
we're
is
gonna have
spelled
good.
differently.
Oh yeah, boy is BOIII for sure.
I'm actually making sure I'm following you right now too. If I'm not, that's my mistake. But I'm gonna make that happen.
Yeah, just tune in, man. We're gonna have a lot of good content. We're trying to get Wanye Thomas back on the show to see if he want to talk more about this new Mike Zimmer defense. Give a little light out to us. Micah told me a good bit, you know, and that was back before training camp, and that had me excited. You know what I mean? Seeing it firsthand, week 1, man, it showed me everything I needed to see, for real.
No doubt. No doubt.
Mr.
As for me, man, it's very simple. It's at the Lando Show on every platform. So, TheLandoshow, and just the way that I sign off on everything that I do now is prayer changes things, man. I believe that firmly. I'm a man of faith, and I'm trying to be better about embracing that and being more unashamed and outspoken towards it. And
There you go.
prayer changes things, and the war's already won. So
Yeah.
that's it, man.
It's
I
the
like
war.
that.
I love that, man. Shout out to Lando and shout out to T_Pars, man.
Sir.
Boy with the eyes. And salute to my guy Ray. I'm Law Nation Sports. You can find me on Law Nation Sports. We are on multiple locations, whether it's TikTok, YouTube,
All of them.
Facebook. You know, I think that somewhere I'm on MySpace, you know. So check me out, Law Nation, man. Pull it up, man. Google me, baby. Law Nation Sports, baby.
And you know, it's Ray's podcast. You can find Ray's podcast on Instagram, Ray's_podcast. That's on the IG. Then, you know, YouTube, type in Ray's podcast. Then, you know, you find links. You can find me personally if you want to talk to me, you know, one-on-one, you want to say something. You can hit me up on there too. Real quick, one more time, just a reminder, this Saturday, catch us at Playmakers. We'll be there from 1:30 to 3:30. It'll be a great experience going live with Laws Nation Sports out there. Also, you know, I can give a shout out again one more time to Black Knot Apparel. Make sure you check those folks out. They're doing great things out there. All right. Well, this has been another edition of Crosstalk. Until next time, see you then. All right.
No doubt. No doubt.
Here we go.
Let's get it.
We still them boys.
Hey,
Get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get right. Get impact.